Welcome back to another Quick Hit Bears. Today we're talking about Sawyer Robertson. He obviously talked to the media yesterday. He's a big-time transfer prospect from Mississippi State, a guy who Baylor landed this past offseason, and when he entered the transfer portal, he was an immediate priority for the Baylor staff. Sean Bell, Jeff Grimes, Dave Aranda, they all really wanted him. They wanted him to join the fold. They were going to do everything they could to recruit him and to win a battle against many other schools, but primarily it came down to a battle between Baylor and TCU. He visited TCU during his offseason, when he decided to enter the transfer portal after leaving Mississippi State. He went on a visit to TCU first, which was during their preparations for the College Football Playoff National Championship game. He then decided to take a trip to Baylor, and obviously after he visited Baylor, the rest is pretty much history. He gave his commitment to the staff, and now he's a Bear. Now he's going through his first spring ball as a Baylor Bear. Lots of things that he said going through media time over the weekend, but the big one was that he talked about his competition with Blake Shapen, and something that obviously many people are going to be talking about this entire offseason. Who's going to win this battle? He addressed it, and addressed it really nicely in a way that makes you think that these two definitely feel like they're both very, very talented, and we're going to see a lot of good things from them to come.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, competition breeds excellence, and Blake's been really helpful throughout the whole process. I mean, when I first got here, he was one of the first guys that talked to me. He's been helping me with the offense the entire time, so it's just been really good, and I'm thankful that he's been there, kind of helping me throughout the whole thing, learning a new offense.
Okay, so obviously a lot of good stuff here. I think the first thing to mention is the simple fact that it's great to hear that Blake Shapen has really taken Sawyer Robertson under his wing a little bit. I know they're both still close in age and everything like that, but still Blake Shapen is basically a guy who's been in this scheme a long time and is teaching him some things about the offense that he needs to learn. Because Sawyer's coming from an air raid offense. He's coming from a system that didn't do a lot of the things that Baylor does in their wide zone scheme. So there's definitely a learning curve there. And I think Blake Shapen going out and really helping him and molding him to continue to develop, that's a great thing. And I think it's a big step for Blake Shapen as a leader, which is something he really needs to improve on from last season. I also think it's just important, the whole fact that Sawyer Robertson's learning a new scheme, and something that I think everyone has to remember, that these things don't come really easily. Now, you watch Baylor's offense, it seems like one that you should be able to get in and be able to learn relatively easily. But when you're used to doing a lot of things from the shotgun every snap, it does make things a little bit more complicated. So it's something that Sawyer's definitely going to have to work on throughout this offseason. I have full confidence that he will be just fine. But still, right now, as it's this fresh, it's going to take some time for him, I think, to get to the point where he's extremely proficient in this offensive scheme. Next up, he talked a little bit about his decision to come to Baylor, but it was more so from the side of, why didn't you just choose to go somewhere where you could be the quarterback one immediately? So he mentioned a few things as to being the reason why he didn't do that and why he felt like Baylor was the right choice for him.
I would say that it's just competition. I like to compete. I guess I wasn't really looking for a place that was like you can walk in and be the guy day one. And so obviously, I chose to come here because I felt like I would develop as a quarterback, and I'd be leaving here the best quarterback possible, no matter the timeline on when I actually get to play or not.
So, I mean, this is another situation where you look at it and you just kind of think to yourself, okay, so he could have gone somewhere, just been the immediate starter, just been a guy who stepped on campus, you're guaranteed the starting role, but instead Sawyer decided to go to the place that best fit him, but not just best fit him for this year. And I think that's the really important perspective to keep if you're a Baylor fan, and just for people who cover Baylor as well, is that he didn't come to Baylor just thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to have this starting job guaranteed to me. I'm going to come, I'm going to work on my craft, I'm going to get better as a quarterback, and this is the place that's going to develop me the best. And not just for this year, but for his career in the long run. I think that's just one of those long-term views that we don't get to see a whole lot from transfers these days, because a lot of guys want to come in and have immediate rewards. Sawyer's definitely not like that. While I'm sure he wants to start, there's no doubt about that. I also think it's important to put that perspective that, hey, he would be fine just learning, just getting better, just becoming the best version of himself as a quarterback. That's exciting for all Baylor fans. I think going through spring in the early part of it so far, I've seen a Sawyer Robertson guy who's very, very talented. At 6'4", 210 pounds, he definitely brings a different frame and physicality to the position. He's a quality athlete, a guy who can make all the throws, and now it's just about adjusting and learning Baylor's scheme and really fitting in to that culture and becoming a leader on this team as he and Blake Shapen just battle. They're going to battle every single day from the spring, and in my eyes, it's going to last through the summer and the fall. We're going to see a great battle between two really, really good quarterbacks. Right now, my take is I think Sawyer Robertson has the higher ceiling as a prospect. I think that when you look at the NFL, he's kind of more what you're looking for at that level, and a guy who can make all the throws, has great size, has good athleticism. But I do think at this point, Blake Shapen still is the favorite, has the maturity, has the experience in Baylor's scheme that it makes me think right now he is the odds-on favorite to be the starter game one for the Baylor Bears next year. Thanks for listening today. We're going to talk, of course, more later in the weeks with more quick hits on multiple players who talked during Baylor media sessions throughout the course of spring football. But thanks for listening today.